I'm going to say something that might make some managers feel uncomfortable. AI misuse from your employees in your business is not their fault, it's yours. Actually, I see a lot of people posting in LinkedIn, just copy-pasting outputs from AI and putting it as an email that is sent or a code that is validated, for example, or also the hallucinations we are suffering from because of AI, the security issues we need to deal with because of AI, so we rather not use it. But actually, all of these things are real concerns and they should be addressed. But they should definitely not be addressed in a way that we remove AI from our workflow or from our framework. In the opposite to that, we should actually double on training people on how to use it ethically and in a productive way. So in this video, I really want to go through how we can get people to use AI effectively in a business context. So I also saw it in my last employer as well. People are just using AI to write an email, to do some summary, to generate a title for a webinar, to do some headlines of the webinar. We had also the feeling, me included, I also had the feeling we are doing more work than we can actually do it by ourselves, because we spent the effort to check and evaluate and reiterate our prompts in order to get better results when we are getting a title we don't like, we are getting headlines, but we are still not there yet, and it might give us more work actually. The reason we got into that is we don't really master the topic that we want to handle ourselves. So what do I mean by that? So actually, if I am a marketer, and which I'm not, so I have been software pre-sales, and I am trying as a marketer to create some meaningful content through AI. I do have keywords in my mind that I can use, and I have like ICP concept, also the ideal customer profile that the market really needs right now, and how we are messaging our clients, and how are we getting quality leads. So we have a lot of concepts about the business on how to really make a good webinar content successful. So maybe it wasn't the right person doing that because our marketing manager was so deeply involved into all the marketing activities of the company and he was alone. So he didn't really have the time to start prompting ChatGPT to get this kind of content because of his bandwidth. So when we look at it in this way, it makes sense, right? I'm not a marketer, so I still try to make his job and make ChatGPT work the best way for me, which would not probably. But if I use it as a pre-sales for discovery, for example, so when I started pre-sales 8 years ago, I go to Google and ask it about the company I'm about to meet. So I needed to know as much as I can about the customer before meeting him in order to be able to talk with him about his problem and define a solution for him. So as a pre-sales, my job is actually to come to the customer and to see the technical feasibility of implementing our solution for him. Where are the business bottlenecks for him? And how can we match this to the solution or the features that we have in our digital solution or software in order to address these bottlenecks and add some value to his business? And this is why I needed to do very detailed discovery for the customers. So I go to their websites, I check the news, I check innovations, competitors, and I try to be as ready as possible for the customer to answer his questions and to address his concerns. So when we come to the discovery meeting, I am well prepared for that. Discovery, there's always unknown parameters. The more we prepare, of course, the more we are ready for it and the better we are ready for it. But the more we know before coming there, the better we are. And actually with AI, with ChatGPT today, or with something like Perplexity, actually is the best one that I use for discovery. And it's bringing me all the information about the customer and also from scientific articles about the technology that the customer would be interested into. So it makes some competitor analysis for me based on my needs. I really need specific things that only apply to a pre-sales guy who is a little bit technical, maybe not to a sales guy to prepare discovery in this way. That's why I'm prompting it in a way that it's really helping me in doing my job and coming well prepared to the discovery. And I can tell you, my discoveries have been so much less painful with generative AI tools than with Google throughout my 5 years pre-sales career by then. So until 2023, I never used generative AI, so I noticed a big difference when I used it. And this is actually what I mean. So meaningful prompts and meaningful results come only with your expertise and experience in the tasks that you want AI to help you with. A second thing I also wanted to talk about is hallucinations. Hallucination is a real thing. This is why you need to iterate a lot and to also be sure that you have some experience or you know something about the task, to not get really something definitely wrong and put it out there. For example, if I'm not a coder, I still understand software, but I'm not really a developer and I didn't have experience as a developer. If I am coding something with AI, I am capable of doing that. I can even run a whole application with AI without knowing anything about software development. But is it really efficient? Would I be able to sell such application if I'm not a developer? I don't think so. So this is the thing. I mean, it's creating the application. You have the feeling the application is working and everything is fine. I am sure there is some security issues. There are some privacy issues. There is also some problems with the code. Maybe it wrote more lines than you actually need. Maybe it used some old technology while creating your application, which really doesn't make sense and you cannot deploy it anywhere. So sometimes there are things to consider that are out of our control, and hallucination needs to be taken into consideration. So if I am an experienced developer and I am vibe coding, I will definitely accelerate my work. AI can help me actually, but I can also still understand each line of code it's writing for me. So this is where it becomes my unfair advantage while developing. So the third thing I want also to address for businesses once for all is the security issue. I am in Germany. I am consulting and implementing AI solutions in Germany and outside of Germany. And I can tell that regulations for security in software in general, and when it comes also to AI, there is also some AI Act in Europe, and there is also internationally how you should use it, how you should behave with it, etc. And actually, I can tell the security is very different between Europe and US and Canada and etc. So countries has different security concerns and security regulations. When it comes to GDPR, for example, in Germany, we need to be sure that we are not using the private data of companies, of customers, without them knowing how this data is exactly used. And we should be able to have some processes in order to anonymize the data when we are creating or implementing some solutions and using other. So the customers of my customers' data, they need to be private and protected as well. And this is normal. It also makes sense in software solutions and it makes sense in AI. So the security issue with ChatGPT, for example, is the fact that your employees are using the free version and they might be actually uploading documents from your business, financial documents or documents from customers to get analyzed. And this is a real security risk that you are having right now, because actually you don't know where your data or the data of your customers is landing. And as a business owner, I would think about ChatGPT like Google. The people are just using it to get things done faster. And if you think about it from business perspective, you should be careful because of the fact that now people are allowed to upload documents there from your business and really share something in order to get something out of it more precisely, in order to get work done easier. And you can prevent this just by getting the business license of ChatGPT, where you pay $25 per user in order to have a secure environment and compliance with GDPR and all the rules. And ChatGPT will not get trained on your data, so you are safe. Just $25 per user. So this is a way businesses can leverage ChatGPT and use it securely and confidently. And then you can also focus on training your employees to use it in a more meaningful way for their specific tasks and have a frame for it. Maybe bringing a trainer or training someone who is training the employees later. So there is a learning curve to go through anyways. So if you address your concerns in a way that let's not use generative AI, you are definitely using on the long run. Everybody is pushing it. There are billions invested on that. So the companies that are pushing AI, like Microsoft, Google, Meta, they invested around $400 billion in 2025 to make sure the infrastructure is there and make sure the context can be used even wider with AI. So I hope that you address AI the right way, and this is actually the right step, is starting with yourself and starting to have a strategy. Get your business AI ready, try things out there, bring your employees with you, also explain them that AI will be never there to replace them, but to empower what they have already as skills. If you found some value from this video, like it, subscribe to the channel to get more videos like that, and see you next time.